Good day everyone. Our topic for today is about Chapter 4, Lesson 1, which tackles about Marcelo H. del Pilar's La Soberania, Monacal, and Filipinas, also known as the Monastic Supremacy of the Philippines. Marcelo H. del Pilar was born on August 30, 1850 in Cupang, Bulacan, and died on July 4, 1896. Marcelo is a prominent Filipino writer, lawyer, and journalist of the late 19th century. His pen names include Piping Dilat, Plaridel, Pupdo, Dolores, and Manapan. He established the Diaryong Tagalog on June 1, 1882. Marcelo also published La Soberania Monacal and Filipinas, or the Monastic Supremacy in the Philippines. So monastic supremacy of the Philippines has three aspects, and let us discuss the first aspect, which is the political aspect. So the interference of the friars to the Philippine government has been ingrained for so long that without difficulty they control the nation's status in defiance of the people and the government. The friars' strategy was to threaten the government with the people's rebelliousness and intimidate the people with the government's tyranny. Simultaneously, they represent the government as the embodiment of oppression and dictatorship. Fear became one of the major reasons why the friars easily manipulated the government and the people. Due to this, the government and the people were divided or separated. The Filipinos paid direct and indirect taxes, but aside from this, there is also another which is called the tax of the religious festivals. The Papal Decree of May 2, 1867 aimed to relieve the Filipino Catholics of this burden by reducing the number of feast days and ordering that each diocese have only one patron saint to be named by the Holy See, and in fact this was done. The respective saints' day are celebrated with pomp at the expense of the people, and during these celebrations, the townspeople have to keep open house and entertaining lavishly.
Aside from these numerous and costly festivals, in every district where 50 families dwell, a chapel is constructed at a cost of at least 1,000 pesos. There are some costing 5, 10, and 15,000 pesos. The juice of the stole and the foot of the altar are a legitimate source of revenue of the priesthood. They are not just mere alms as they think, they are a just remuneration. Jesus Christ and common sense declare that he who works deserves to eat.
The government believes that the friars' opinions are sufficient enough to believe that they are empowered to name the persons who ought to be deported.
Moving on, we have the religious aspect. In the performance of their duties, the municipal officials depend on the parish priest. In reporting the conduct of citizen, having 100 members of Principalia is not enough. Principalia is defined as the educated upper class. The essential requirement for this is the curator's approval. The curate is an assistant to the parish priest. Everything that needs approval must have the curate's signature. The curate approves it or denies it, according to his will or order of his prelates. Supreme orders are carried out if the curate so pleases. His powerful argument produces a magical effect that's in danger for national integrity. For additional information on the religious aspect, there is what they call the sanctorum. The taxation policies amount to 3 reales. It is a necessity to pay for the cost of Christianization, including the construction of buildings and the purchases of materials for religious purposes. If the person is not able to pay for the 3 reales, then the church will take away something from that person, whether their land or animals, as a form of punishment. And if the person still cannot give something in exchange for the 3 reales, then the person will work for it. They called it polo y servicio, or forced labor. Proceeding, we have the church hierarchy. According to Marcelo, the government before was decentralized according to its own way. This is related to their way of collecting direct and indirect taxes, which later became the root of corruption. He also added that the church also has a different way of managing things. He called it obedience. When the Pope says something, the bishop obeys, and when the bishop obeys, the priest also follows. We also have the religious orders, namely the Augustinians, Franciscans, Jesuits, Dominicans, and Recollects. In summary, the influence of monastic authority extends to the religious domain. The friars' influence was so great at that time that even city officials relied on the parish priest to carry out their duties, putting national integrity at risk, because it was also used to officiate certain documents and conduct the municipality's resident census, The curate's approval was crucial at that time. People's voices were silenced because they were afraid to confront the status quo.
So now let's head to the economic aspect. The laws that regulate the foundation and development of convents in the Philippines are undoubtedly based on the belief that monastic life is unproductive. Numerous are the regulations pertaining to the manner of supplying their need for wine, oil, and other things of the kind. The Philippine government lacks resources to undertake public works. On the other hand, the monastic orders build grand and costly convents in Manila, and in each parish of 3,000 souls, they erect a spacious palace for the residence of the regular curate.
There is a huge difference between the government and the church way back then. While the government lacks resources to establish public works, the monastery built grand structures and curates. While the government built primary schools in each town, the friar curates had stable places. These curates established lavish convents and expensive palaces. Friar curates have these certain stable or safe place. Meanwhile, the public pays them in exchange for divine assurances. These friars were overflowing with cash. They create new forms of heavenly devotion. Now these friars get paid by the Filipinos for another tribute for miraculous objects such as belts, rosaries, scapulars, cords, and other things. Furthermore, the Spaniards got products from the natives at low cost, after which they sold them back to those same natives at a higher price. Therefore, it has come to a conclusion that Del Pilar's most important work, which is the La Soberania, Monacal, and Filipinas, criticized the friars for their wrongdoing in which led to the Filipinos' poverty and despair. Del Pilar wrote under the pen name Plaridel to conceal his true identity from the Spaniards.
And that is all for the three aspects of Marcelo H. Del Pilar's La Soberania, Monacal, and Filipinas, presented by I, Leigh Matildo, Natalie Dolino, and Karyle Calamonte. Thank you for watching.